So again, independent publisher connectors, for those who don't know about these, they are Power Platform connectors that are submitted by anyone. So you don't have to actually own the API to submit connectors anymore. So we have almost 50 connectors in production, missing one. So we're at 49 today. I've added 6 in the last month. Just a couple of highlights. One has been submitted on behalf of a company. Some of them have been co-authored by 2 people. Some of these connectors have also been updated numerous times, especially the AccuWeather connector. And we have a total of 27 incredible independent publishers. You can see all their names on the right of the screen. And so 6 connectors that have been released in the last month: Square Business, Square Payments, Aftership, Zoom Meetings, Chuck Norris, and Dad Jokes. So those last 2 were in the queue for a really long time, and everyone has always been laughing about those, but they're finally out. So it's awesome to see how Troy, Taiki, Akutora, and Daniel have pushed out these connectors. In addition to that, we have 34 connectors in our pipeline. Some interesting ones that I see here as well looks like we are going to have a new Google connector. We have a Google Cloud Translation connector. There's a COVID-19 API as well, a CO2 signal, which is going to be our second sustainability connector that we have. So it's awesome to see that, and I'll just leave this for a second for you all to take a look. And of course, Coinbase will have that demo today. Cool. So Roy Paar is here with us today. So Roy works at Microsoft. So Roy, I'll push over the mic to you. Feel free to introduce yourself and show us your cool demo on the Coinbase connector.
Sounds good. Thanks, Natalie. Okay, so hi everybody. Roy Paar with Microsoft on our industry solutions team here. I wanted to quickly show you guys the Coinbase connector that I made for this independent publisher program. Sort of heard about the program randomly, saw a presentation that Natalie was doing talking about the program. I had built a couple before for project work, and then I thought, this is something that I could probably try and tackle. So I sort of looked at my phone and I said, what are some apps and services that I use every day, kind of getting into crypto. So I thought, let me look at Coinbase. I have a Coinbase account, and so I went on the website. I noticed that they have a pretty robust API and documentation. So I said, let me try and tackle an easy connector using the Coinbase API. I noticed that they have a few endpoints that don't require authentication. So, from their services, you can get back a list of all currencies that they have listed. You can get back a list of all exchange rates for crypto, and you can get a spot price or a market rate for a particular crypto currency without any authentication. I wanted to try and make a connector sort of the easy way without an API key or anything like that. So I went into our sandbox here and I started building my custom connector. I just used those 3 actions, those 3 endpoints, and I made my connector with their get calls to those endpoints, where you pass in, for example, to get a spot price on a currency, you pass in the currency code for the crypto that you want a spot price on, and then the base currency that you want it to come back in, so USD, for example, or euros or what have you. Another one is just to get a list of all the currencies, as I mentioned. I think this is just all fiat currency, so it's not crypto. And then the last one is our exchange rates here. So you pass in your currency code and your base currency, and you get back a current exchange rate. So I kind of put this together and then sort of fumbled my way through the publisher program. Downloaded this Pacon CLI. So I'm not a developer. I had to kind of figure out how all this works. So you basically install the CLI, install Python, and then you log into your environment and sort of download the API JSON files, so the definition files for your connector. And then what you get back is, your API definition.swagger.json and then API properties.json, and you create a README, and then you basically fork your Power Platform connectors repo, you clone it locally, And then this independent publisher connectors repo is where you eventually do your pull request. So here's my Coinbase directory here. Here's my 3 files. We can see if I look at the pull request here, you basically have to provide some documentation of your connector running within a Power Automate flow, stuff like that. And then once it's validated by the team, then it's sort of merged into the repo there. And then what happens is you get your connector eventually listed on the Power Automate site. So here's the Coinbase connector. So this particular version is only those 3 actions I showed you guys. So it's very simple. You can't do any trades or anything like that, but you can get back currencies. And then so once that was deployed out there, I said, let me see what I can do with that. So let me just test it out. And in another environment that I have, I just made a really simple Canvas app that uses that connector in a flow behind. So if I want to have current Bitcoin price in US dollars right now, just hit get price and it'll send me back the current Bitcoin price. I can do Ethereum, for example, or any crypto code that you want, and just kind of pass it back into the Canvas app. And then I said, okay, well, this is pretty simple. Let me see if I can store this information and do a little bit more with it. So I started to build a model-driven app and a longer Power Automate flow that sort of runs every minute and kind of pulls that their service. So you can see here I've pulled in my custom connector. I'm using US dollars as my base currency, but if I wanted euros or what have you, I could just sort of hard code that in here. And then what I get back is a long list of exchange rates, and when I clean it up, it kind of looks like this. So if I scroll down here at the end, you can see there's all of our cryptocurrencies. There's Algo and Dash and Atom and what have you. And then I pulled that into, so for those familiar with D365 and Power Apps and Dataverse and stuff like that, I used the out-of-the-box currency table and added my cryptocurrencies there. So you can see here I just have a handful that I've pulled into my model-driven app. There's Shiba Inu, there's DAI, there's Bitcoin, Cardano, what have you. And I'm just updating this exchange rate every minute. And then I also write to a table called rates, custom table, that just basically makes a timestamp of the rate at that time. And then so you can see here, one Dogecoin, for example, is worth 15 cents as of 9:51 this morning. And then I kind of pull that into a Canvas app to show market rates over time for the last 24 hours. So I can see all of my cryptocurrencies that I've got in the system. Got a bit of a chart here that shows that it's going down over the last 24 hours, probably due to some of the stuff in the news lately with Fed rates and stuff. And then, so I made another, chart for Bitcoin over the last hour. I can see, market rates in the last hour for a particular currency. And then, so that's kind of just using those 3 actions that I put into my custom connector. But I think in the future, what I'd like to do is sort of build out this, the ability to trade within the connector itself. So that's going to require, authenticating into your Coinbase account. So what that could look like is, I've got my Coinbase account, I've got my my holdings here within the account. For example, I could have, 1,000 Dogecoin and 10 million Shiba Inu. Here's my portfolio balance, and then monitor other signals out there or other influences that could potentially prompt me to want to trade or buy some crypto, sell some crypto. So for example, I've just used the Twitter connector here to just kind of monitor Elon Musk's tweets and pull them into Dynamics as an opportunity. In the future, I think I could use Azure Cognitive to kind of detect the sentiment of his tweets, and if he mentions crypto, then maybe that's an indicator that I should place a trade and buy some of that particular currency that he mentions, and things like that. And so you can see I could pull in a lot of different news articles and influences and stuff like that could potentially prompt a trade. So that's kind of where I'm headed with it, to build out the ability to place those trades. But that's kind of what I have to show, and that's how easy it is to make a custom connector. So thanks, you guys.
Awesome. So this is really, really cool. Coming soon, Roy trading platform, maybe, to help you in your crypto investments. Really cool. I love also, Roy, you mentioned you're not a developer, but you continued to kind of expand your comfort zone here. It really shows you how the technology, was it really, I mean, you kind of simplified it, but I think just a quick question back to you since we have a couple minutes. Was it an easy process for you? I don't want to say it's simplified or super easy, but obviously you completed it. So I think you were successful in doing that. Did you feel like you were empowered along the way?
Absolutely. Yeah. That was my first pull request. So I sort of fumbled through that. And then just the connectors that are already out there, I was mentioning to Natalie the other day, just reading through what other people have already done, the comments on their pull requests and the updates that they made to their connector kind of helped me understand, okay, this is how the process works. These are the files that I need to check in and stuff like that. So it was a learning process. It was a very fun one.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the contribution. That's really, really cool. I could see how this connector could easily be tied into the ways you've used it, but also for everyone else listening, it might be a good Viva Connections extensibility opportunity using some ACEs. I could really see how you could roll up some information about the current price of the crypto, and then have an expanded view like you have here, using the Viva Connections extensibility with those adaptive card extensions. So a lot of really, really cool things. Thank you both again so much.